I hope everyone is in the holiday spirit because the gifts of the MLB hot stove have been abundant. We're going to discuss that, plus the impact of Mike Leach, along with some NFL updates. This is the We Don't Know Sports Podcast. Stay tuned. Welcome back once again to the We Don't Know Sports Podcast. This is Chad the Mark with
Mr. Brown
and
Canadian B.
And a broken neck, it feels like for me, guys. I'm not Mr. Brown. I'm not going through a spinal fusion here, but for some reason, I feel like I've been hitting the back of the head with a shovel. But we're here. We're doing a show. Can I get an amen or something?
Well, if it gets worse, brother, I got a good doctor for you.
I might need it. I don't know what it is, but like, who's ever swallowed and had the back of their neck hurt? That's how it feels right now. So I have to turn if I keep looking at you, Biggie, I'm not trying to make just uncomfortable eye contact. It's just what helps my neck not hurt.
I just need good old JR in the background and an RKO. You need to be in a helicopter. That'll fix everything.
Now, RKO might fix it.
I mean, if y'all keep staring at each other, we're gonna a picture of the Zamboni and Mindless Love.
I just see the guy mouthing. My love, my endless love. Oh, speaking of endless love, one of Biggie's spirit animals has passed on to the great beyond. And, you know, I hate to start the show with a somber note around the holidays and everything, but we're going to try to have a moment of remembrance for the one and only Mike Leach. We got plenty of things to talk about today. We got the hot stove stuff. We got, college football playoff. We got NFL. But Mike Leach, man, Biggie, how are you feeling, man? You always revered Mike Leach. You love the gunslinger style. You love the attitude, his character, essentially. Are you okay?
I was pretty disappointed because on Saturday he was at a big function and it seemed like everything was right. And then Sunday, all of a sudden he's in the hospital, and when nobody will say what he's in the hospital for, it's real serious. Poof. He's gone.
He got real bad. I saw one little thing that got released where they said he had some bleeding on the brain. And I was like, well, that's not good. And then to your point, they're not saying anything, so you kind of feared the worst.
Yep.
And they were scheduled to play in a bowl game and everything. Like, this is just way out of left field. And, like, look, obviously the family, the players, people that know him more personally, like, that's got to be a kick in the nuts if there ever was one. But let's take a moment and kind of reflect positively on Mr. Leach here. Mr. Brown, is not being a big college football fan, what do you know about Mike Leach, if anything?
I mean, I just know about him with the crazy, offense, innovator. I feel like he was an innovator.
Yeah.
I don't know like a ton, but I feel like he's the guy that if he came to your program, you're going to put up some points.
Yeah, I think he did that pretty much every stop he's ever been at. Now, he came to rise at his stop at Texas Tech and whatnot, but where was he before that?
Well, Texas Tech is where he got his first major head coaching opportunity. He was there from 2000 2009, and he's the school's all-time winningest coach. He started at BYU back in the late 70s, early 80s. He was a Hal Mumme disciple. That's where the air raid
Hal Mumme's the air raid. Yeah. So periodically, as we discuss this, I'm going to break out some Mike Leach quotes for everybody. Here's one for you. He said, "Quite frankly, there's a probability of higher incidence of injury if you have guys with white knuckles and high asses with all kinds of time to set up and tee off on somebody than everybody hurrying and scurrying around. If somebody's tired, sub for them. I guarantee you the second team guys want to play. We played one deep on defense all last year because that's how deep we were." So white knuckles and high asses.
I saw this, and it's the most perfect Mike Leach, and this is how you can honor him. You add a bowl game, and you put it in Key West on a high school field. There's no conference ties because the guy who invented ties is an idiot. First-rate concessions, plenty of gummies, no candy corn, free admissions to those eloping. Sponsor, Captain Morgan's. The Mike Leach Pirate Bowl, because he always had the pirate deal going on. All the teams should put a sticker on their helmet.
He could be a logo. How about when he was at Texas Tech? He said, well, outside of Lubbock, expectations aren't very high, but it's okay because we usually play in Lubbock a lot, especially this season.
Do you have the one on there where he is talking about the eloping or the marrying a woman.
So that was very recent when he was given the. We talked about that too briefly, where he was given the when Turbo was on our show. He kept referencing Mike Leach and the coffee and all that. So there's so many to see and hear, and it's one thing to read some of these. But the way he delivers it, just that deadpan delivery, almost emotionless, like he's just very dry. I can see why he's your spirit animal, Biggie. Like that makes sense.
If there was ever anyone who I wanted to emulate in this life, it was Mike Leach. From the hip, and just look at him when he's on the sideline. All these coaches have their fancy gear. He's on the sideline with a black. It's not a hoodie. Just a regular...
it's just a T-shirt, right?
Well, he would wear a T-shirt or a sweatshirt, but no hoodie, just a crew neck. And it would have state across the front of it when he's at Mississippi State. And it looks like his grandkid ironed the letters on.
Well, that might be.
Just old school, throw together, junky as it could be. There might be a hole in the back of it.
All right, last quote, and then we'll get into his coaching tree. So when his last year at Washington State, I think he went 7-5, and they said, "What bowl would you like to go to?" He just said the Rose Bowl. Hey, he asked him which one he wanted to go to, not which one they deserved. But Biggie, being WVU fans, we have a relation with Mike Leach because the coaching tree, our last two coaches have come from the Mike Leach coaching tree with Dana Holgerson and Neil Brown. And Graham Harrell as offensive coordinator.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't even think about that one earlier.
I got one quick thing. I just saw this as I was scrolling through here. Texas A&M is big-time football, right?
No, they spend money like they are.
Mike Leach had more bowl game victories, 8, than the last 4 Texas A&M head coaches combined.
That's all right. He never played defense either, so like to have teams that don't play defense and win bowl games, that's not bad.
Yeah.
But as Mr. Brown alluded to, they would go 5 wide and just sling the ball all over the place. Who are some other disciples of this, though? Like Cardinal fans are probably upset
Cliff
because they got to
Kingsbury.
blame Mike Leach for having Kingsbury there.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury, Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley's probably the coolest story because when he had Lincoln Riley as a quarterback, he just flat out told him, probably not going to play you at all, but you're still in school. I think you should be a student assistant. Lincoln Riley stormed out, pissed off. I'm not doing that. Came back the next day, realized how I should probably do that. And Lincoln Riley has produced 3 Heisman Trophy winners and 6 seasons as a college head coach.
Yeah. I feel robbed that we're not going to get a long-term version of Mike Leach offense in the SEC because I think over time that could have been something really magical. Just if Mississippi State started putting up like 50 points a game or something like that. You know how some of those Big 12 Texas Tech offenses were back when they had like Crabtree and some of those guys, or even he wasn't there for Mahomes, but that's the offense of this bred is what you saw there. But anyway, any parting words to give the people about Mike Leach?
If you take a girl on a date, buy her a steak. If she eats the whole thing, marry her.
What does it say? What size steak?
It just says steak.
I'm gonna give you this last quote I got. He said, "We waste a lot of time with that, and then we worry about the Kardashians. How can it be that we laugh about England's obsession with the royal family? At least the royal family has college degrees in military service." So he likened the royal family to the Kardashians. So I can't say he's wrong about that.
You may still get that reign in the SEC. The one that was on the top of my mind, I had to look it up. I couldn't remember. Josh Heupel is a disciple of his at Tennessee. So we may see that 50-point a game in the SEC hold true.
All right, rest in peace, Mike Leach. We'll miss you, brother. Well, the hot stove never disappoints. I feel like every year it gets crazier and crazier. And with these massive contracts going out to baseball, you keep wondering, like, how many times are we still going to see 7, 8, 10, 13-year deals? It's kind of incredible, but yeah, here we are, happening once again. Just to kind of give some perspective, we haven't gotten to the arbitrations yet where, still teams are going to pick up more salaries out there. But like your top 5 are the Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Padres, and Dodgers, who are now 5th in payroll. My, how things have changed just in a couple years. But that ranges from $274 million on the books as of right now for the Mets. And then the Dodgers at 5th are down at 165. So the Mets are over $100 million more than the Dodgers. Just say that again. The Mets have spent $100 million more than the Dodgers. And then on the other end of the spectrum, the A's, they have $4.5 million on the books right now. So that's why we need a salary floor. But anyway.
It's safe to say that Steve Cohen makes a little more than Magic Johnson.
He might.
What do the A's have on the books? $4 million?
4.5. Give them the extra half. Just round up. We'll just round up and say 5 to be generous. Well, that's what happens when you have nobody over the age of. The Guardians were the youngest team. I guarantee you the A's will beat that this year because they're going to have nothing but guys that probably should be playing AAA ball, maybe even AA ball, but they're going to be on a major league roster because that's all the A's can afford. And Vegas is licking their chops before they get that. But that's a whole other conversation for another day.
Spring training out in Arizona, they're going to be rolling up. And who the are these guys?
He's from the California Penal League.
Yeah.
It is Oakland, after all.
It is the California Penal League.
That's what they are.
Did you have something there you want to discuss with the Padres, Biggs?
I just wanted to throw this out there. They talk about different teams going out and spending money and small market, big market. I feel like the Padres, who, even though they got Bogarts, have went after every big name out there. Their lineup, they got a couple spots to fill, but you're going to have Tatis, Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts. That's probably the best 1 through 4 in the league that we've seen if they're all healthy.
I was just going to say this. For the teams that have been shelling out the money lately, like, yes, the Padres have spent aggressively, but they seem to have the wisest investments in the players. Am I wrong to think that? Like, I feel like those actually make the most sense as long as Tatis doesn't fail more drug tests.
Yeah, I mean, their 1 through 4 is probably the best in baseball, and for the first time in a decade, on paper, they look better than the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's what I say. Finally, because last year they beat the Dodgers in the playoffs after the Dodgers won all those games. They go to the NLCS. Now you added another bat. It's kind of that changing of the tide, I think. But now I'm a Padres homer, so maybe not.
So on the other end of the spectrum, you got the Mets, who are spending way too much money, I think. I mean, when we look at the Padres and talk about the value associated with it, Mr. Brown, your Braves are another team that spent very value-oriented deals. The Mets do not seem to be in that ballpark. It's more like we'll just throw as much money at it as we want. So are their deals actually making sense? Is it the right players, or are they just spending money frivolously?
I think they're just blowing it. I feel like they just blow money like a kid. You know, they're just trying to just spend it and, you know, like crazy. So you get Verlander. Like, obviously, Verlander's a Cy Young winner coming off Tommy John, but he's also, 39, turning 40.
Right.
So they signed him to a 2-year deal for an annual $43 million per at his age.
Which seems about $5 to $7 million more than he would have got anywhere else.
It's insane. So now, don't get me wrong, you got Scherzer and Verlander, 2 old dogs at the top of your rotation, but that could go south very quickly.
Yep.
I'll say this, they'll get more starts out of Verlander this year than they did DeGrom last year.
Well, that's not really setting the bar.
Who starts more this year, Verlander or DeGrom for the Rangers?
Yeah.
Verlander.
Yeah, I think that's the right pick.
So, but to me, like as a Braves fan, I'm more worried about the Phillies than I am the Mets, even with Verlander and Scherzer.
So what have the Phillies done?
Oh, before we get to that. So the Mets have that. They have Verlander. They went with the Japanese guy. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, so he's probably their number 3. Yeah. Which Japanese pitchers in recent days or years have transitioned pretty well.
But it could go sideways, too.
It could. Like, I still have nightmares about Kenshin Kawakami that came over for the Braves, which was a disaster. Yeah. And then the head scratcher is Brandon Nimmo. He's never been an all-star. He's pretty much – last year his WAR was around 5.
He's Roger Dorn.
That was the best he's ever had. He don't hit for power. He don't hit for much average, and he don't steal bases. So, but he will run to first when he walks. But he got $162 million over 8 years, and to me, that's a complete head scratcher.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Complete overpayment. I figure they could have got him and re-signed him for like $40 million less than that, at least.
I mean, what was the Brandon Nimmo market like? Was there a lot of competing suitors offering, $11 billion?
I feel like that was a silent auction, and they paid way over.
We just like his personality.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And he's one of the first major league players that never played college ball.
Really?
He came straight from travel ball.
Really?
Yeah, and he
Okay.
got drafted.
So you mentioned the Phillies a second ago. So they're third in the majors in payroll right now. What have they done to bolster their ranks?
Well, they signed a left-handed reliever, which isn't a big move. They got Taijuan Walker, so the bolster the rotation. Noah Syndergaard's gone to the Dodgers, but that's not a loss. I think he's pretty much
he's
done.
over the hill for his
But then the
career.
biggest, obviously, splash, knowing that Bryce Harper's out till the All-Star break with Tommy John, is they signed his buddy from his Washington days, Trey Turner, to an 11-year deal, which arguably is the best shortstop in baseball.
Yep.
So putting him in the top of the lineup, that's pretty badass, man. And the Phillies scare me a lot more than the Mets.
Are you surprised the Dodgers didn't make a run on some of these guys, like Turner specifically, or did he already tell them internally, like, there's no chance?
I think so. I think the new as good as gone. He's an East Coast guy.
The Dodgers had a weird offseason. For the first time in like 5 years, they didn't go out and make the big splash and, the Yankees of the West were going to buy everybody. It's like they're trying to get back to their
Their farm system.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Dodgers haven't really been in on any of the big free agents. Now, that could change, and I want to touch that. But the 4 shortstops, we had the big 4, and the first 3 that signed all over 10-year deals.
So Carlos Correa was 13 years?
Yeah, Correa was 13 for 350.
Years. Like, they basically just said, all right, he's 27, so we'll just sign him till he's 40. That's
Right.
really all that was.
So 13 for 350 to San Fran for Correa. We talked about Turner 11, $300 million to the Phillies, and then Bogarts to the Padres for 11 for 280. So Dansby Swanson's the remaining guy, and it's supposed to be the Cubs, Red Sox, Braves, and Dodgers are in the mix for him. And the Braves lowballed him at the beginning of the free agency for $100 million for 6. He came back at 7 for 140.
Yep.
And they said no, which would look like a steal now, because there's no way Dansby doesn't get at least 200 if Bogart's got 280.
But the Braves are more fiscally and frugal than some of these other franchises, and the Braves find themselves in the top 10. They're 6th in payroll at $162 million. Like, I don't know how comfortable they are spending much more. You know what I mean? They've been fortunate.
The problem with Dansby, and I've seen him play several years now, number 1 overall pick, people kept wondering, is he going to live up to that hype?
It took him a while to get to where he is now.
Correct. I mean, he's always been solid defensively. He finally won his first Gold Glove this year. He finally maintained offensively throughout the whole year and batted second, almost hit. Well, he was around 100 RBIs this year and close to 30 home runs. But this is the first year he's actually put together a full season offensively. Mm-hmm. So he don't have that offensive resume that these other 3 of the big 4 had.
He's just hitting the market at the right time.
Right.
Right. And you got to remember, this is the first free agent market on the new deal. And they're showing, man. They're shelling out money.
Right.
Like it's not.
And there just happens to be a lot of shortstops this year, too, so his market's getting set. It's not like he was a lone wolf out there.
So you think that if you had to project where he's going to land, where is it going to be? Which of the 4?
I think it's hard. It's between the Cubs and the Dodgers, because the Cubs are going to shell out the money because they got Hayward off the books this year. And he would be like a franchise there at Wrigley.
Yeah, and they already picked up Cody Bellinger on a big
Right.
year
So
deal to prove it.
he would be good in Chicago. But then again, I mean, is Freddie saying, hey, guy, come on over here to L.A. It's not so bad out here.
Mm-hmm.
He might need some company.
And him and Freddie both have that bombshell wife that Dansby's currently on his honeymoon. He's married to the U.S. soccer player. So he may be like, we got some nice vineyards out here. Come on out.
All right. So, any other news and note on the free agent market you want to definitely hit? Because if not, I got some questions. I just want to roll through some teams.
Well,
here.
I want to touch on Aaron Judge real quick because on the baseball group giveaway earlier, Biggie gave me this great statistic. So Yankees fans might be happy with Aaron Judge right now. What was it? A 9-year deal for $360?
Yep.
So 9-year deal, $360. He's currently 30 years old. There's been 54 players in the history of baseball that's weighed 270 pounds, and only one of them has homered at age 37 in the history. And who was it, Biggie?
He was known as a power hitter.
Who was it?
Bartolo Colon.
Big Sexy. So Yankees fans, you better pray to God that he's number 2, or you're gonna be screwed for years to come. I mean, he's not one that looks like he's going to age gracefully.
No, I mean, it's a hard frame to keep up.
Stanton, who has a huge contract that you can't play in the outfield, he's your DH. So you need Judge to be.
So who's going to DH in 4 years?
Judge.
Well, who knows? In baseball, you might have 2 DHs by then.
That's true.
The catcher needs a DH now.
And then to piggyback off of that, Aaron Judge, the Yankees breaking news, just signed Carlos Rodon to bolster the rotation, which to me was their biggest need this offseason.
So I don't know.
Their smartest move.
I don't know if this is including that, but the Yankees are second in payroll at 207. So we talked about a lot of these in here. Number 7. So your top 7. We've talked about all these: the Mets, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Braves. You know who number 7 is in payroll?
The Giants.
Giants are all the way down at 14th, which is crazy.
Oh, is it the Angels?
It's the Angels.
Yes.
So they're 7th in payroll. So all the ones ahead of them made the playoffs. Any chance the Angels make the playoffs?
No.
Not happening, right? The Rangers have moved up to 8th. The Rockies are 9th.
That's surprising.
Like, that's got to be some deferred salaries there or something. Like, I don't know. Like, didn't they sign
Chris
Trevor
Bryant
Story? And
huge deal.
Yeah.
They signed Trevor Story, but they traded him away. Are they still paying part of Arenado or something? I don't know.
They was paying part of Arenado.
I'd have to break that down, but 146 seems awful high. The Stros are number 10 at 141.
I'm pretty sure they're still paying part of Vinny Castilla's contract.
They might be. And then the Cubbies, you mentioned, they're 15th there. Everybody else is under them. So still a little bit of room for movers and shakers. Anybody, if you had to give the badge of approval, who won the hot stove offseason so far?
It's the Phillies or the Padres, clearly for me. I do like what the Rangers are doing, and Biggie hates it because it's in their division. They're still the 3rd place team.
Yeah, it hasn't been enough, right?
But you add Bruce Bochy, there's credibility immediately, and then you get DeGrom if he stays healthy to go with Seager and what's his name, Simeon last year. So they're credible.
I mean, they'll flirt with above 500. I just don't think they've done enough to be like a 95-win team.
Well, in that division, you got the A's who will be horrible, and the Angels who will probably be horrible. So if you just beat up on
the Angels are never horrible. They're always going to win like 80 to 85 games, just enough to be kind of there.
Smoking.
So
they'll win 72.
Is that not the case?
I'm going with the Angels are going to be in 4th place.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not saying they're not, but I'm just saying they're not going to be the same pushover.
But congrats. By the Mets overpaying for Verlander, I think you finally get a division title this year.
Could happen.
That's why I texted you as soon as I found out. I was very happy.
All right, well, a lot has happened in the NFL since the last time we were in person, since we missed a show last week with illness. But I just thought a good place to start would be the power rankings. Gentlemen, we got the Eagles unanimously as number 1. My question just starting there. Do they finish the season as the best team, or do you see anybody else rising above? They got the 1 loss, right? And that's it. And they've kind of bounced back, or do they have 2 losses now?
They have 1 loss.
Just 1. All right.
I was going to say real quick that I've wrote them off so many times this year, and yet they continue to maintain.
Yep.
And they've beat some good teams, and they've been playing well as of late. So to me, they're a very good opportunity to stay there till the end.
Not a team that's peaked and fell off.
Yeah, I feel like they're consistent. Hurts and Brown are nasty together.
To what you just said, I felt they started the season off real hot, and then they kind of hit a little bit of a valley where they lost a game, and then they barely beat the Colts, and was like, oh, okay, this is who they are. Nope, turned it right back up, killed the Titans, killed the Giants. And I get it, the Giants aren't that good, but they're still a divisional foe that you beat by 3 touchdowns.
They're in the playoff hunt.
They've surprised everybody this year. So
I think they finish as the number 1 overall in our power rankings, and I think that by week 17, 18, they'll be resting because they'll have the 1 seed locked up.
So the Chiefs are in at number 2. The AFC is a little bit more muddied than the NFC. So in the NFC, the Eagles seem to be the clear-cut number 1, although the teams that we got 4 and 5, we'll get to in a second, they're definitely rising. But in the AFC, you got the Chiefs and we got the Bills as number 3. But the Bills, are the opposite of the Eagles, right? They've been a little shaky lately. You don't feel as good about them?
No, I feel like they're going to get into the playoffs, and it'll come down to a Josh Allen drive in the fourth quarter because he just won't let them lose. He'll do all the passing and all the running. If they had any run game, I would like him, but they don't. And you can't run him constantly, have him be your leading rusher and not expect it to affect him.
No, and he's already been on the injury report a couple times now.
He's going to follow the Cam Newton
Maybe.
path. You can only take those hits for so long.
The Chiefs, though, they just don't go away. I mean, they're right there.
The Chiefs are the top team unless they're playing the Bengals. Let's be real.
That's it. And being a Bengals fan, the Chiefs and the Titans, for whatever reason, they're just two teams that every time the Bengals play them, they know how to game plan against them, and they can just beat them. So I'll give credit for the defense on that one. The Bengals we got at 6th. 4 and 5 are NFC, the Cowboys and the Niners. So the Niners are on right now without Debo. They're playing the Seahawks.
I love me some Niners.
Yeah, I mean, that defense is nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe they were still 5th for us after the beatdown they put on the damn Bucks last week.
Who will win a division by default? To me, the Niners, their defense is first in the league in every category that matters defensively. And offensively, even with them going out, we had this conversation earlier, they didn't dial down the playbook any to bring in Purdy.
No, we just saw this touchdown they threw on Thursday night here where it was a fake throw to the left, a fake throw to the right, and then Kittle's wide open in the end zone. And they don't have Debo tonight. Yeah. So, I mean, they're still firing on all cylinders.
And that Debo injury isn't as bad as what it looked to start with. Sounds like an ankle sprain, and they'll have him back before the playoffs start.
Yep. So what about the Cowboys, man? It's always easy to write the Cowboys off, and until they win in the playoffs, it's easy to say that. But that defense is good. That pass rush is good. They have a dynamic running game. When Zeke and Pollard are both getting 15 carries a game, they're playing a little bit more of an old school tactic. And is it really much different than how Philly's playing? Let's just run the ball to death and eat you alive.
You just don't trust the coach in Dallas.
No. And I don't trust the franchise. By coach, you mean Jerry or do you mean McCarthy?
McCarthy.
Okay. What's your thoughts?
I agree with Dallas. They're a team that you want to write off as well just because based on their previous history here recently. But this is really the first year that they've implemented the two-headed monster running back and distributed it, and they're both healthy coming down the stretch. And it's changed the way they've dominated here down the stretch, and their defense is there. So they don't have to be dynamic on offense. If they take a game off, they're still having a chance to win. I like Dallas to be there, and if they got to the NFC Championship, it wouldn't surprise me.
Now, here's the thing with Dallas. They're going to finish as the 5 seed with the best record of the divisional
because
teams.
the Eagles are going to win the division.
But they're going to go to Tampa Bay in the first round and play the GOAT in the playoffs. Tampa Bay is going to be 8-9 hosting the Cowboys.
How do you know it's not the Saints?
Well, the Panthers are coming on strong.
They got Darnold, baby. They're coming. All right, so just to recap, the top 5 was the Eagles, Chiefs, Bills, Cowboys, Niners. The Bengals at number 6. I would say the top 6 is kind of one cluster, and then it's a different cluster after that. So the Vikings at 7. They seem shaky.
Yes.
I mean, they're just...
the Vikings are the first team in the history of the NFL to have 10 wins in their first 13 games and have a negative point differential.
Well, they can thank the Cowboys for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the gift that keeps on
What
giving.
was that, 40-7?
It was bad.
40-3.
Biggest
40
road
to 3.
win the
Nice.
Cowboys have had in franchise history, and they've been playing football for a long time in Dallas. The Ravens are number 8 in our power rankings.
Before you get to the Ravens, I want the show to know that we have a young Vikings fan sulking in the corner the second we brought up that
I thought
40.
I thought he just stormed out and slammed the door.
Yeah, that 40-point just demolishing of his Vikes against Dallas. Yeah, so he's pouting and throwing a temper tantrum and kicking and screaming on the flour.
Everything's gone downhill since Kirk Cousins was doing the drip. And
Once he went from Midwestern choir boy to Captain Kirky with the chains.
Yeah, he went to the dude, Skip from Napoleon Dynamite with LaFonda.
That's it. He's got the skull cap now.
He's got some mixtapes out there.
He does. So Ravens at 8. they're dropping just because Lamar's hurt.
Yeah.
When's he due back? Anybody
They said
know?
he was out 1 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
So I'd say it's going to
Anytime.
be 3
He's already
weeks.
rolled out this week, so
They'll come back. He'll come back. The Bengals and Ravens close out against each other basically for the division. Man. All right. Then you got the Dolphins, who we flirted
The
with them
Dolphins
being
have
top
yo-yoed
5.
so much in our power rankings this year, and then we were all on each other earlier in the year because I didn't like them. Other people liked them more. Then I really started liking them, and as soon as I did, they start losing.
Well, I mean, Tua finally lost, so
Right, but-
he is human.
They played the Niners, though,
Yeah.
and the Niners just dump trucked them.
Well, then they got beat by the Chargers the next week.
That was that 2 West Coast trips?
No, they stayed out in California the whole week.
I mean, but is that still the best way to go, though? I mean, that's a tough schedule. I'm not making excuses for them.
They weren't cream puffs. I mean, they were 2 good teams that they lost to.
So the Chargers have inserted themselves in the top 10 now, and they're on the outside looking in. But I mean, really, like I said, out of the top 6, it's just a mess after that. Like, you can interchange those parts.
So I just have one question for you guys here in the NFC. Everyone's favorite, Dan Campbell. He'll eat your kneecaps, chew off your arm, all that good
Rising
stuff.
Lions.
They are 6-7 right now. The final playoff spot is being held by the Giants at 7-5-1. Now it's Giants and the emails are both 7-5-1. Seattle 7-6.
The NFC East is surprisingly entertaining. I'll say that.
Do the Lions make the playoffs?
Hail to the no.
What do you say, Mr. Brown?
I don't think they do, but with this resurgence we've seen, now the the Lions are saying Jared Goff's not a year Band-Aid. He's our starter going forward.
Dude, they have one of the best offenses in the league.
They have one of the worst defenses in the league.
That's why they have to throw it so much.
But Goff, yeah, man. I mean, he's never been terrible.
Let's look down the road of this trade. You know, Stafford wins the chip his first year in L.A., and Goff was shit on, like, you know, how bad he was. Let's look at, like, the end result here. If he obviously has the chip, but who will put up the better numbers long term?
Here's the thing. There's nobody that's rooting for the Rams to do worse than the Lions are because they'll get their draft pick.
Yeah.
So if the Rams end up being like a top 10 draft pick and the Lions end up making the playoffs, like, that's a win-win right there.
Yeah.
They're actually making some bold moves with the organization that way.
So, but I guess who will have better numbers after the trade, Goff or Stafford? You know what I mean?
You'd have thought for sure it'd be Stafford, but Goff is just slinging it.
Yeah, I think long term it might be Goff. Just Stafford's looked old and he's hurt,
Yeah.
and I don't
He
know.
is old. And now that they signed the one, the only, the show in himself.
Baker Mayfield.
Player of the week
Balled out.
against my Raiders.
He just
Love it.
needed Sean McVay to coach him up for 48 hours. It's Matt Stafford. He's got an elbow injury.
It's the
He's played his
opposite-
last down.
It's the opposite of the Brock Purdy situation, right? Like Brock
Yeah.
Purdy, they have the whole playbook open for Shanahan and the Niners. Baker Mayfield, they send him like a lunch mat menu. It's got like a front and back. They're like, memorize this on the plane ride, and that's it. And then that's what you got to do with Baker. They'll be fine. All right, y'all ready for some picks?
You know I'm ready. 2-10 ready, baby.
Hit the music. All right, we are back to do our Stone Cold Lead Pipe locks of the week, but let's be honest, they've been lukewarm at best. We're trying to right the ship. I don't even have the yearly totals in front of me because it's depressing to look at, but Biggie, I know you and Turbo are both flirting with 500. Mr. Brown and I are just flirting with trying to be in the top 150 of the entirety of the nation here.
So we know Tommy's 75. Do we know where Biggie is?
He's like 96.
So Tommy passed you?
I
Because
actually have a better record,
okay.
but because my picks didn't all go in.
he did not report his picks in time, so that is what makes our picks full of integrity, is we have to lock them in before the games, and Biggie failed to do so. We'll chalk it up to a bad week. We're all sick. We didn't do the show. Threw us off our pattern. So for those keeping score, Biggie is the leader between the three of us here. And we all have the 49ers tonight to cover 3 points on the road in Seattle. So that looks like that might come to fruition as San Francisco seems pretty dominant and Seattle seems like they're struggling against that D. But we got a whole lineage of games here, and Mr. Brown, you're gonna have us with where the Vegas money's at. So even if you don't like our picks, you can at least figure out where everybody else is betting. So it's Thursday night as we're going through this. We'll kick it off with the Colts on the road to Minnesota. We just talked about how they were lagging at the Vikings, but man, the Colts, they don't look like the same team that Saturday took over the first week he was in the helmet.
He was playing the Raiders.
Always elevates the profile. The Vikings, 4.5-point home favorites. Where's the money at?
82% on Minnesota.
Ooh.
I'm rolling with that money on Minnesota at home. I think that Captain Kirk goes back to being a Midwestern choir boy, and they win by 2 touchdowns here.
Yeah, I'm going with Gangster Kirk in this one, and he's going to bring Laquanda or LaQuisha with him, and they're going to roll.
You know, you need to watch the movie Orgasmo if you haven't seen that. That's Kirk Cousins. He's like the guy in Orgasmo. That's a secret shout out to anybody that knows that movie. But all right, we're across the board on the Vikings. So you want to give us the skull for your boy just to make him feel good now that he left after we ridiculed the Vikings?
Skull!
That's for you, Isaac. All right, the Ravens on the road to the Browns. Hard to believe the Brownies getting 3 points at home.
Yeah, and for that reason, 60% is going with the Ravens.
Which I saw that Huntley is playing quarterback for them this week. He cleared concussion protocol.
I know that he's playing this week, but they've been very up and down. I got to roll with the Elves at home. Give me the waxed assholes.
Yeah, Deshaun was very underwhelming his first game back. He looked a little better last week. I feel like, him playing against Huntley this week at home is where he'll probably blow up and get 2 or 3 touchdowns and no picks. I think the Browns will roll this week.
So just because Lamar's not playing, Huntley's coming out at concussion protocol, so he's not fully practicing with the team yet till today or tomorrow maybe. I also like the Browns to cover this one, and honestly, I need the Browns to cover this one because I need the Ravens to be a game behind Cincinnati coming down to that showdown at the end of the year. So we're across the board on the Browns.
Yeah, and 2 things on this. I'm shocked that it's only -3 for the Browns, and I'm shocked that 60% of America or the world is going with the Ravens here. I'm kind of surprised.
That does surprise me also.
So we're fighting against the script on this one. So the Dolphins, we just talked about, they were our darlings some weeks, then we hated them the next week. We definitely don't like them as much now. But we also don't love the Bills as much either. But the Bills are getting 7. It's in Buffalo.
So right now, the money is only 52% on Buffalo.
I saw where there is some snow rolling in this weekend, but they're only projecting 7 or 8 inches to have made the comment that, hey, it snows in Alabama too. Since it snows in Alabama, and he's so prepared for
Does
this.
it now?
I feel like I just got sold beachfront property in Arizona every 2 interview I watch. I like the Bills to win, but not to cover. Give me the Dolphins and the points, please.
The only snow in Alabama you're going to see is cocaine on a hooker's ass crack.
I don't. That's an Alabama image I don't want.
That's when you're a recruit on your visit to Alabama or Auburn. That's how they get you.
That's how Saban seals the deal, right there. Anyways, so we talked about the Dolphins going between. They had the Chargers and the Niners back-to-back weeks. If it wasn't for them playing in the snow in Buffalo, I would like this spread, but given the fact of the weather, I'm taking Buffalo to cover.
So I'm just thinking the Dolphins are that team that beats all the teams they should beat, and then when they play the top half of the league, they really struggle. It's a divisional game. It's on the road. They need a break, and this just ain't the week they get it, man. It's 3 tough games in a row. They're fighting for their playoff lives, but I think Buffalo is trying to still fight for that first overall seed. So I'm taking Buffalo to cover. I think it's like a 10-point game. Buffalo is going to have the ball late, and they'll be able to run out the clock. So Lone Wolf, buddy.
This is the only stick of gum I have.
Explain that reference. That is a subpar Lone Wolf.
How much gum I have is pretty personal to me.
Do you know what he's talking about?
I'm clueless.
So what are our viewers and listeners thinking right now?
I'm very vaguely not giving the exact conversation between Dan Marino and Ace Ventura.
See, like you went down a rabbit hole that, no, damn it, I need a dolphin sound and you're going to do it now.
You know what happens if you're a lion and you try to go out and kill some dolphins and you swim out into the ocean? Those dolphins circle around because lions don't swim.
That sounds
They
like a
kill
name
you.
for Sea lions.
Hey, but for our viewers, you just went down what we have to deal with every week in our group text.
Yes.
Biggie says these messages and no one knows what the hell is
It's the
going on
Biggieism.
inside his head other than him.
He knows what he means, and sometimes we know. We learn over time.
Biggie is our resident Yogi Berra.
Yep.
Even Yogi made more
If
sense.
you come to a fork in the road, take it. All right, so
Door's always open unless it's closed.
nobody goes down there anymore. It's too crowded.
there you go.
So the Falcons on the road to Nolans, which this has got playoff implications, believe it or not. The Saints are a 4-point home favorite.
So it is. Vegas is going 58% on the Nolans.
I don't know why they're so high on the Saints. Maybe just because it's a home game. But
Mariota is not the starting quarterback for the Falcons.
oh, that's why. Who's starting quarterback for the Falcons?
I couldn't tell you his name. You put a gun to my head.
I think it's Patterson. In the Wildcat.
Patterson?
Why not?
Ooh, that might work for them. I tell you what, I'm going to roll with the Saints to cover at home. I don't like the 4 points, though. I'm going to regret this one.
Do the Saints pass the box? You said no, right?
No, I think the
division?
Panthers might.
Okay. I'm going with the Saints just because I don't know who's a quarterback for the Falcons. So I'll take the 4 and Nolans.
Desmond Ritter, the guy from Cincinnati.
All right.
So that's where we're going.
Oh.
So you got to go
And
with the
that-
Falcons, right, Chad?
In that case,
No, hell not.
in that case,
Are you going to change?
You give me the Falcons all day with Desmond Ritter, baby.
All right. Are you serious?
Yeah,
You like that?
I'm riding him.
You like that?
He took a group of 5 to the promised land last year.
And they got obliterated.
He got him there, though.
All right, Lone Wolf, my Falcon then.
Much better.
Someone shoot that
much
damn
better.
bird.
Much
All right,
better.
speaking of birds, the Eagles on the road to the Bears. The Eagles, they're getting 9 on the road. What's Vegas say?
74% agree with it.
9.
Here's the thing. 9's a big number, not for the Eagles. They are killing everyone. Give me the Eagles. I'll lay the points.
The thing is, Fields and the Bears cannot keep up with that dynamic offense, man. Hurts is doing what he wants when he wants, and you gave him a guy like a Brown in there, AJ. He's killing it. He's killing it. The Eagles are going to win by 17, at least.
They're going
Devontae
to
Smith's nice, too.
Oh, yeah.
they're going to continue to kill. The Eagles are what the Bears wish they could be. The Bears are the great value version of the Eagles, and that's maybe being real polite. Maybe they're the Clover Valley version. Is that what the Dollar General brand is? Maybe I think
They're the
it's something
Save-A-Lot version.
They are down the list in what
They are the Mountain Holler of Mountain Dews.
Yes, they are. They're Dr. Pop. They are Mountain Lightning.
They're the
They're
Aldi's.
Dr.
Market Fresh.
Thunder. Yeah, Eagles across the board. All right, this is a game we're anticipating some excitement here. We talked about this team earlier. The Lions on the road to the Jets, the feisty. Robert Saleh's got the Jets. I don't know what they're doing with their quarterback. I don't know what their plans are long term, but the Jets are still fighting for a playoff spot. The Lions, though, they're a dog. 1.5 point on the road to the Jets.
And Vegas has 70% coming in on the Lions right now.
I'm rolling with the money on this one. I just have one question. Can we get a Robert Saleh, Dan Campbell, no holds bars? Let's reincarnate Mills Lane.
Like Fight Club.
Give me that.
Just let
Oh,
it go.
yes. Fight Club all
That'd be
day.
good. That'd be good.
So, Mike White, dude,
Is he alive?
I don't know if he's alive, but his teammates love the man, and I don't blame
I think
him. because
America loves the man now.
He went out twice last week, and then they found out he was really hurt at the end of the game. I don't know if he's playing this week or not, but the man's a warrior, so hats off to Mike White. I'm pretty sure that Zach Wilson's mom already supported him with some ATM, and so hats off, Mike White. With that, if you don't know ATM, look up Urban Dictionary. You're welcome. And I'm going with the Lions and Jared Goff, the future, the current quarterback of the Detroit Lions.
So we're
ATM.
we're ATM across the board with the Lions here. Honestly, I think it could go either way, but the Lions, they score a lot of points. They get a lot of yards, and man, this is It's not the type of team you thought Campbell would build, right? You figure they'd be like a 13-3 type. No, it's 33-30 is what they're going to go for. So
I love their two-headed monster in the backfield between Swift and Williams.
Williams, who's leading
touchdown
the NFL
monsters.
Which is crazy because both of them are great fantasy plays. It's just that one of them's typically hurt one week. When they're both healthy, you don't know what they're going to do.
They got them on St. Brown. They're good enough on offense to trade away T.J. Hawkinson within the division in the middle of the season.
That is very bizarre behavior nonetheless. All right. Steelers on the road to Carolina. The Sam Darnold-led Panthers are a 2.5-point home favorite. What's Vegas say on this one?
64% on the Panthers.
Wow.
This is a game that I wouldn't bet unless you gave me free money. Having said that, I'm putting my money on Carolina to cover at home because I think that they're rejuvenated with Steve Wilkes at head coach, and the fact the division is just right there for the taking.
Oh,
I'm going with the Steelers, and I don't know why. I just got to make up some ground here. But is what's his name? Little Hand starting or no?
Kenny Pickett. Yep.
All right, I'll go with the Steelers. I'm good with that.
I wish I could ask for more explanation on the reason to pick the Steelers, but I don't really care. This game is going to be a game that nobody watches unless you're a diehard of either of these two teams. I'll take the Panthers because they're at home. So. You're the lone wolf.
Ewan's like fries on your sandwich, eh?
I've had a pierogi, eh?
Yeah. Ewan's.
I don't know why I asked you.
I don't know either.
Pierogi.
Pierogies are nice.
Yes. Eh? No.
No. It's Yinz's.
Yinz fries.
You want some from Auntie, bro?
Yes.
No. I do not want fries on my sandwich. That's
Steel City beer? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's all right. So here's another interesting game. I had fantasy implications in this one I'm kind of regretting, but Trevor Lawrence and the Jags at home hosting the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a 4-point road favorite. I bet Vegas loves this one.
Oh, yeah, 71% on them boys.
Easiest pick of the week. Cowboys to cover that 4.
All right, so Trevor Lawrence balled out last week, right?
Yes.
And then the Cowboys struggle with the Texans. And then... I don't know. I got to go Cowboys. I don't know. I feel like Trevor's so up and down. I don't think he's going to do it 2 weeks in a row.
If he did, it'd be the first time he did all year. And I think that when you get that pass rush that the Cowboys have, it's going to expose any weakness a quarterback has. Not necessarily picking on Sunshine here, but their offensive line's got weakness. Their offense has weakness. So it's them boys across the board. All right, the biggest spread of the week. No doubt, the Chiefs on the road to the Texans. Do the Texans got more magic in that hat? Or are they going to get blown out by the Chiefs? What's Vegas thinking here?
51% KC, right down the middle.
Here's the thing. I would easily roll KC to cover this, but I did that last week, and they were up 27-0 on Denver and Magic Russell Wilson, and ended up having to squeak it out at the end. I think they win the game 10, 12 points, 30-17 even, but
14's a big spread.
Yeah. Houston has a way to cover.
I feel like Houston covers as well, and I'm just going that route because I am off this week in fantasy, and I really don't care if the Chiefs win or not, so we'll go with Houston. Let them get the stinker out of the way this week.
So for the opposite, I think you're going to be pained by all the points that your fantasy team scores when you don't have anything on the line. It's going to suck. I think the Chiefs are going to get this done. There's no way the Texans play two tough teams back-to-back and cover both of them. They just don't have it in them. You know, when you look at a team and you say, man, they're feisty, they don't have any quit in them. When I see the Texans, I say they're full of quit. They don't have any win in them.
There's no dog in them.
No, and Lovie Smith is a lame duck coach, and they're going to move on.
Best beard in the league.
So, you know, it is the best beard in the league, and for that,
he would be like the perfect version if there was a black Santa Claus. Let's go ahead and market that right now.
Black Santa Claus.
Is it?
What are you talking about?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Blanta.
Yeah. There's a Mexican Santa Claus. There's a Japanese Santa Claus. Why can't you think, Greg, Mr. Brown? How old are you? You think there's only one Santa Claus?
There's only like one Santa and one Jesus, right?
My God, I've been around Walmart and there's more than one Santa ringing the bell out in front of there. How do you think they make that happen? There is multiple Santa Clauses. The logistics, you being in logistics should know better. It's impossible.
Do you not think that's a that's a perfect type there for Lovey to be that guy.
Yes.
Like, if there was a movie made about Black Santa, is there a movie? Because if I missed it,
It could
there
be
was.
like Bad Santa 3, and we
Yeah.
just recast Billy
Yeah.
Bob with him. That'd
Yeah.
be great.
So that's what I was going for.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for my poor wording.
No, I'm with you. I'm just broadening your horizons so you know that there's other Santa Claus. Or as they say in some places,
Santa Clauses.
Claus.
All right, was I in the middle of a pick there?
I think
No,
I was
we
I'm
were
gonna wrap
going
up.
up.
So that's all you get. All right, so the Cardinals on the road to Russ and the Broncos. The Broncos are a 3-point favorite.
64% coming in on Mile High.
Is Russ playing? That knot on his head, I thought he had a concussion.
Well, I know
That's
who's not
protocol.
playing. I know Calamari's
It's
not.
not a tumor.
Missed
I
the
swore I wasn't going to do this anymore, but
We're all going to break his seal here.
I've got to take the Broncos at home. No Russ, no Kyler.
I've already went back on my promise of not picking them, so I'm riding again, baby.
So we're going to ride it right off the rails because I'm picking them as well. So that means we're not getting this one right. Anybody want to change their mind last second?
I'm comfortable with my decision.
We'll move on to the smallest spread of the week. Your all's favorite teams get to play each other. Biggie's New England Patriots on the road to playing the Raiders. Raiders are giving a half a point to those road Patriots.
60% are going with the Pats.
It's a half a point. Why not just make it a pick 'em? I don't get this.
It doesn't matter.
So, New England goes down, plays in the desert, moves just a little further north into the desert. You know, Mr. Brown, it's in Vegas. We should really fly out and watch this game. Quick out and back. If it wasn't peak season for you,
I'm not wasting my money on that shit.
they're equally
It's
shitty.
not the game. It's just the Vegas. You know?
I am going to take the Patriots for the victory, though.
Shot.
I am too.
I am too. So, honestly, just for the fact that it's a Belichick disciple, like they typically struggle against him. So, you know, that alone, along with all the other nonsense that is the Raiders.
The true
So, real
question.
quick, go ahead.
The true question at the end of this game is when the coaches go to midfield to shake hands, Belichick and McDaniels walks over there. Does Belichick just slide him a plane ticket and say, "Come on back, we'll sign you as a consultant for the playoffs"?
Well, he's not fired
So,
yet.
Mark Davis is adamant that he's the guy. All right?
Well, the dreaded vote of confidence.
Right. So my question, it just blows my mind looking at statistics. So two things. Josh Jacobs is leading the National Football League in rush yards. Okay?
Yep.
I don't know if y'all knew that or not.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Yep. So you would think they're establishing the run. That should mean good things, right? And then two, Devontae Adams, after a slow start, is putting up very good numbers in that offense as well, and they are still dog shit. So you can't make this stuff up.
Defensively, you were porous, and that's putting it nicely. You've blown leads.
It's the
double
secondary, dude, because you got Crosby, who's a madman, and then actually Chandler.
Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
On the other, yep.
They've been doing well on that perspective, but their secondary, it's
They're blowing more
god-awful.
coverage than Henry Ruggs does on the DUI, man. Like
Yeah.
they're in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're across the board on New England here. So moving on, Tennessee Titans on the road. I wonder if there'll be more Titans fans than Chargers fans in LA. That's a bigger trip. I think the
Dude.
Chargers might have some fans.
Every team has more fans than the Chargers.
All right, then I strike my comment from the record. But the Chargers are getting 3 points. The Titans have been reeling.
68% Vegas says it will be the Chargers.
You know how damn hard it is for me to go against the Fighting Mike Vrabels for another week? They've totally disappointed me over these last few games. I love Tennessee. I love how they play football. They just have nothing offensively other than Derrick Henry, who all of a sudden has butterfingers, and their defense hasn't been able to hold up. That's what they've been built off. Give me the Chargers to cover at home. Even with Brandon Staley playing it like it's freaking Madden.
Dude, the Chargers are number 10 on our power rankings. They have, like, the best, like, they should be, like, 5 or 6 if they had play up to expectations based on the weapons they have.
Well, and based on how that division's gone, I mean, they should be better.
Dude, I think Herbert's a multi-time Pro Bowler. Well, of course, they don't have the Pro Bowl anymore, but you know what I'm saying. He's an unquestionable talent. Chargers roll this week. I just feel like they keep underperforming. I don't know. I don't see the Ryan Tannehill-led Titans keeping up with the Chargers.
All right, so I also have the Chargers covering, but I'm going to use this moment to discuss Herbert for a second. I'm going to say he's overrated.
Oh,
He's overrated. People love it because of these highlights he makes. He'll show up big because he makes the throws that not many people can make. But he's also just making errant throws and poor decisions half the time.
Well, he's throwing to new guys all the time. Top 2 wide receivers out. You're
Never
Pro Bowl
healthy.
left tackle out.
I
Pro
get
Bowl
that.
right tackle
I get
out.
that.
You're on your second string center. Austin Eckler's been down. He's an all-world talent. Now, I'm not putting him in the elite group. That's reserved for
He's
guys
not.
like Joe Burrow who have showed out in the postseason.
Yep.
But he's an all-world talent.
So he's going to continue to get overrated talk because he's got the look and he's got the skill set, but they just can't put it all together with him. And I think it's going to be a bumpy road for his next 2 years. We'll see if I'm wrong about that, but I'm also taking him though to cover this.
Ah,
So,
I was waiting for a Titans lone wolf there. You let me down.
I told you, I just wanted a minute to shit on Herbert for a second. No, he's a top 10 quarterback. I'm not saying that, but people act like he's in that top tier. Like Biggie said, 100% agree. He is not an elite quarterback. Speaking of elite, you got the old gun versus the young gun. The Bengals on the road to Tampa. Tampa fighting for their playoff lives. The Bengals are getting 3.5 on the road.
And 76% of Vegas going with your Bengals.
Here's picks sure to go wrong. I like the Bengals to win this game. I think the Bucks kind of resurge after last week, getting embarrassed, realize that they need to finish strong to make the playoffs, and they lose by field goal.
So it's quite obvious the only reason why Brady came back is to save money in the divorce. So I'm going with the Bengals. They're going to win by 10.
I'm also taking my Bengals here. They've been on fire lately. Like they've been beating playoff teams. They beat the Titans, and now the Titans are reeling. They beat the Chiefs. The Burrow Bengals beat the Browns for the first time ever. So like the stars are aligning. I think that late postseason rush is coming on. It's a good time to be a Bengals fan. I think it carries on here. They got a little bit of injury going on, but I'm taking the Bengals.
Fire the cannons at Todd Bowles.
That's probably where they're aimed right now. All right, the Giants and the Commies, the emails, 4.5 point at home. This has got some playoff implications potentially as well. A lot of tight-knit games here. 4.5 points for the Commanders against the Giants.
And we got 57% rolling in on the G-Men.
Yeah, I like the G-Men to cover this 4.5. I mean, I got an interesting stat for you guys. Do you know the last time in NFL history that a team played the same team 2 games in a row? Okay, I thought you might know, because as far as I know, it's never happened. The emails tied the Giants, had their bye week, and the first game back from the bye week is the Giants.
I remember hearing that when they tied, like they're going to do it all over again in 2 weeks, but I didn't realize they had the bye week.
That's very odd. That's very odd. I'm going with the Giants.
Biggie, did you take the Giants?
Yes, sir. Give me the G-Man.
So we're Giants across the board. And I don't know why. Like, I kind of like Heineke and the Commies, but
It's just 4.5. They just tied. You're thinking it's a field goal game at most. They're
but
going to
now
score
it's in
20s.
Washington, though.
Yeah.
Man, do I really want to take the Giants?
I think you got to lone wolf this one. You got to make it round.
I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to make a change here and go with the.
You know why that picture of Jerry Jones surfaced? Because he went against Daniel Snyder. You do not want to go against Daniel
He's got
Snyder.
turn on everybody. And, we know how good he is with his emails. So, I can't think of anything to make the sound on the lone wolf for the commies here. I can't make the sound of the dial-up modem. I can't make an internet sound. Just, you got mail. That's all I got. So we'll roll with that. All right, the last game, the Rams on the road to the Packers. There's not been a team to disappoint quite like the Rams, and the Packers are getting 7 in Lambeau.
63% on the Rams here.
I know the Packers are coming off a bye week, but I have no clue how they're a 7-point favorite against any team in the league. Give me the Rams.
I'm going with the Packers here. I think Baker could beat the Raiders, but this isn't the Raiders.
I'm also taking the Packers. I think the Rams are just horrendous. There's no way they not in Lambeau. Baker now has a little bit more of the playbook, and the Packers have film on Baker too in the Rams offense, so they'll take advantage of that. And they're winning this by 10. So,
Aaron Donald, fee, fi, fo, fum, Jordan Love starts the rest of the season.
Are they going to shut him down? Load management?
After Aaron Donald gives the razor's edge to Aaron Rodgers, it's Aaron squared.
I like that. I hope we get that. Another one for the bad guy. All right, that concludes. What week are we in? I don't even know.
Week 15.
Week 15. Holy hell. Of the NFL Stone Cold Lead Pipe Locks. Don't forget, if you got a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. But we don't. We just have a problem with gambling really well right now. So hopefully we right the ship this week, fellas, and we'll get back on track.
Quitters never win.
Well, fellas, we're almost to the holidays, and you know what? I saw something that popped up in the news today that's not very in the Christmas spirit, and that was our girl Mandy Rose over at WWE has been future endeavored. She is no longer an employee there, and if you don't know who Mandy Rose is, as Corey Graves would put it, she is the Golden Goddess. She is part of Toxic Attraction, and honestly, one of the most attractive people on the planet, but she's now unemployed, so... did you catch the story as to why?
I saw that she had shared some stuff on a knockoff OnlyFans site, which went against her contract because the money she's making off of it, the WWE did not get their cut of.
They get a good portion of it. She's doing this all on her own.
They gave her a chance to take it down. She refused.
Yeah, because she showed her boobies, and then everybody wanted to watch that.
Well, so if you don't know what they're talking about, just Google Mandy Rose not suitable for work. It'll pop right up. You're welcome.
Just go to Twitter. It's an easy place to find it. It's all over the place. But she was a reigning champion on their NXT brand for like 300 days, and she just dropped the title the other day, and then they're like, all right, you're gone. But what's amazing is if people were trying to make the parallels to, well, they didn't fire Paige back whenever they had somebody jizz on the NXT title, and that got out. And if you don't know what we're talking about there, just Google Paige.
Three-way.
Three-way. Damn. So the
two girls, one belt.
Right. That was one, and then
Once Upon a Time in China.
Yeah, well, she was gone then, and then that was X-Pac too.
Yeah, he did his finishing move on her. Was the Bronco Buster? he busted.
But Biggie had mentioned the Playboy
with Sable, Tori Wilson.
Yeah, but that was all through the banner of WWE. Yep. Hell, that was part of their story.
Did the long leg one do it as well?
You wish.
Keebler?
No.
Okay.
She did. Maria did, if you remember her.
Yeah.
She was kind of crazy.
And Mae Young did.
Mae Young, yeah.
In the 40s.
She just gave birth to the hand. Sexual Chocolate's theme music was fantastic. It was that Marvin Gaye knockoff, and it just came.
That's when he became the world's strongest man.
Well, anytime you give birth to a hand. My favorite thing was like 20 years later when they revisited it and they had somebody in a hand costume come in and they were like, Dad.
It's so bad.
It was like the hamburger helper mascot. It was terrible. But should Mandy Rose be fired or just suspended? What's your thoughts?
Not fired or suspended. 99% of her gimmick is to be hot. I'm the hot chick. That's what people watch. WWE, Vince, he's still behind the scenes calling the shots, is only mad because he didn't get his cut of what he feels like he built.
I don't think Vince is behind the scenes calling the shots.
He's involved in there somewhere.
The product seems to be a hell of a lot better lately. I have a theory, though, that this could all just be a long work. What if they do this? They're like telling her on the side, like, we got to send you away. We can't set this precedent. We're going to bring you back in 3 months, or we'll bring you back at the Royal Rumble. We'll bring you back at WrestleMania. How much more of a pop and attention would there be if she came back after being let go?
She'd get that Ronda Rousey type pop when she first came.
Right.
Hey, and I hate to give you breaking news here, but speaking of big butts, Sir Mix-a-Lot was playing live here at the halftime show.
Yeah, we got to go.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to check that out.
I like big butts.
I cannot lie. You want to finish it? No, he's shaking it. He don't want to rap Sir Mix-a-Lot. He's got another great song called Buttermilk Biscuits. You ever heard that one?
I haven't, but I do know this. Always take the biscuit.
Always take the biscuit. All right, that's good enough for me. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the We Don't Know Sports podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure you check us out on social media. Subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. And don't forget, we got our ongoing groups and Facebook as well. But if we don't see you next week, I think we'll see you next week. It's right around the holidays. We'll see how life is treating us. We should be back next Thursday. But until next time, have a wonderful weekend. Be safe out there. And bye.